Hey guys, it's Phoebe, Izzy, and Joanna, and this is our presentation on industrialization in America. Here's an American flag. There you go. The period around industrialization in the U.S. was called the Industrial Revolution. During this time, there were revolutionary ways of mass production, the birth of corporate companies, new ideas of capitalism, and so much more that shaped the way that our cities look today. England was the first place to industrialize in about the 1760s. Industrialization then spread to countries in Europe, like Belgium, and the Industrial Revolution started in the U.S. in around the 1790s. The Industrial Revolution took the U.S. by storm. When new ways of fast production developed, people were able to survive in cheaper ways and the population increased. From 1860 to 1910, urban population grew from 6 million to 44 million. Farmers were pressured to not only supply the growing population with enough food, but also enough for surpluses to survive off of. Machinery like gasoline-powered tractors assisted farmers with the urban demand. This also caused many farmers to fail and resulted in a rise in techniques of mass production like factories. Building of the Transcontinental Railroad linked the East Coast and the West Coast and allowed a fast way of transportation that had never been seen before. Railroads could now be used to transport products like steel, oil, grain, and coal. Fun fact, cowboys were not needed anymore in the Industrial Revolution because of the trains that allowed fast ways of transportation for the cattle that they used to herd. No more yeehaw. The majority of immigrants to the U.S. were European. They mostly immigrated searching for better economic opportunities and to escape forms of persecution. Ellis Island is one example of immigration to the U.S. It's where most European immigrants went through to enter America. America promised equality to all, but the reality was that most laborers were immigrants. In the U.S., social classes looked like a majority lower class and a small rich corporal upper class. These people in the upper class were owners of factories and businesses, and those in the lower class were usually factory workers. Despite having terrible working conditions, lower-class people had to live in unsanitary and disease-infected cities. Most people in the lower labor class were forced to live in compact tenements with usually no plumbing or running water. Factory workers had unfathomable conditions that were unsanitary and extremely dangerous. In urban areas, diseases like tuberculosis, smallpox, cholera, and typhoid were common and resulted in many deaths. Tuberculosis spreads from staying in small spaces, aka tenements in urban areas, and cholera is from drinking bad water, which was very common in those times with no plumbing and an unsuccessful waste management system. An idea that was new to the U.S. during the Industrial Revolution was capitalism. Capitalism developed when large corporations had more money and power than the government. In Europe, socialism was much more common than in the U.S. Socialism appealed to the proles because it was about sharing the wealth from the wealthy to all. Capitalism appealed to the upper class because it allowed them to stay in power and stay wealthy without super high taxes or a share-the-wealth government system. Unions were used for workers to fight against low wages, dangerous workplaces, and fight against oppressive large industrial companies. When unions grew, that meant less of a proletariat class and more of a middle class with higher wages and more stable jobs. While this was effective, this only applied to white, non-immigrant males and took a while to achieve true equality for all workers. Nowadays, still migrant workers are not given the same rights as other workers. Thanks for watching our video.